It's time now for Ask the Auto Man, where Brian Bowersock of West Escondido Auto lets us know about potential car issues before they become big money pits for you. This week, how to keep your power steering working. Brian, good morning. Great to see you.
Great to be here.
All right, so essentially power steering, not something that a lot of people even think of. What is power steering fluid, and how does it work, and why is it important to your car?
Probably the most forgot about fluid on your vehicle, to be honest with you. Power steering fluid, most vehicles today have what we call power assist steering. And it's actually a hydraulic system that makes it really easy for you to turn your steering wheel. I'm sure you've been in an older car before that you had to two-hand it. Well, every vehicle today has power steering. Some cars in the old days used to. And the power steering systems are pretty sophisticated now that we use on the vehicle. And it's important to keep the fluid clean on them to prevent failures on certain things, such as pumps and hoses and stuff like that.
So if you didn't have power steering working, what would that mean for your car?
Power steering not working, a car that uses power steering makes it extremely hard to steer. In some cases, certain people wouldn't be able to steer the vehicle unless it was actually moving down the road.
So then is this something that you would be able to recognize essentially if you can't? That's the problem with your fluid, but I mean, you've got that, right?
Once it breaks, but what we want to prevent is it from breaking, obviously. Right. It's a lot more cost effective to maintain a system than it is to repair a system once it's failed.
So you've brought some examples, right?
Absolutely. We brought a power steering pump here, and it's a newer style pump. The reservoir is actually not on the pump. Some of the older ones, the reservoir was on the pump. And these systems can become quite expensive to fix if the pump inside fails, which often happens from fluid contamination. Hydraulic fluid suspends contaminants in it, so as it wears, components wear inside the pump or the hose, suspends them in the fluid and moves them throughout the system.
And if there's a leak, it could be really flammable.
Absolutely. Power steering fluid is highly flammable. It's a hydraulic fluid.
Okay, so how often should this be something that we're checking for?
It should actually be checked by whoever services your vehicle. We usually recommend it about every 30,000 miles, 30 to 40,000 miles. It keeps the system clean, contaminants removed. It will extend the life of the components, the power steering rack assembly, the pump, the hoses on it, and a lot of times the system will last the life of your vehicle if you service it.
And is there any brand in particular that's better than the other? I see you've brought one of them here.
We use a BG system. There are certain cars that we use specific fluid on those vehicles because they're required by the manufacturer. This fluid does work for quite a few manufacturers, Ford, GM, and several others. There are some manufacturers that require a different type of fluid, and you have to be really careful. There's a machine we use to do the clean and exchange, and actually this is a cleaner that's put in first, cleans all the contaminants out of the system, and then it's removed, and then fresh power steering fluids put in.
All right, and of course a great place to always get everything checked is West Escondido Auto with Brian, and you can always contact him with some of your questions through our website.
Absolutely.
Brian, great to see you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
For more information, you can go to san diego6.com and click on Hot Topics, and also look out for the West Escondido Auto page.